Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's video. I'm Sami Abasad, Director of Education at T3 Live. We're going to be going over the market and we'll go over some swing ideas for tomorrow, Monday. Before I start, as always, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. I also want to let you know that I put together an ebook for you if you'd like to get a copy of that. Link is in the description. Again, if you'd like to get a copy of it, amazing ebook, free ebook, link is in the description. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and turn on the charts and do what we always do, go over the market, go over some swing ideas for next week. If you find benefit in today's video, you know what to do. Please be sure to hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. With that said, let's get started. So the market appears to be topping out, okay? The Qs is still in an uptrend, but notice I did a video on, I think, Wednesday. It's in my YouTube playlist if you want to check it out, about this pattern, the breakout failure, basically the peekaboo new high, and then the market immediately rejected it, and so that was really bearish. And then the market appears to want to break down. We are still indeed in an uptrend, but the market, the Qs, looks like it wants to roll over. If you look at the weekly chart of the Qs, that's a nice big topping tail, which is bearish. So under 239.68, I'm going to be all out bearish on the market, and I would expect a pullback to about 220 on the Qs. Okay, that's what my bias for next week is. If we break under 239.68, then bearish with a target, with the target being the 20 MA on the weekly chart. I'm thinking it'll be about 220 by the time the price comes down to the by the time price comes down to the 20 MA. The 20 MA will have caught up and will probably be around 220, but it could also drop to 210 if this is really the top. Now, how or when will I know I'm wrong? Okay, how could I? If we take this out, if we take out 246.34, then I will change my bias back to bullish. Okay, I went ahead and shorted the Qs on Friday. Today is Sunday, so on Friday, I was gonna say yesterday, but actually on Friday, I went ahead and shorted the Qs. I still have it open position. It was actually my second best trade. Where is it? Oh, this is month to date. Here's today or Friday. So best play was the VXRT, second best play was the QQQ. I still have the Qs short, so we'll see. Only time will tell. But I like the Qs lower. I also went ahead and I wanted to short the IWM, but TradeStation did not have the IWM available. Excuse me. So I went ahead and bought the TZA, which is the inverse triple leveraged ETF for the IWM. TZA looks higher on the daily chart. Notice that transition A is setting up on the daily, so I do like it over the base. I went ahead and bought it already, but I actually wanted to short the IWM. It doesn't really matter whichever one you end up picking, but I like the Qs. I like the IWM. Of course, I like the SPY, but the SPY doesn't have a tight stop. If I were to short it here, the stop would have to be minimum up here. That's pretty big. So I went with the Qs and the IWM. Gold is still incredibly strong, and gold miners also just as strong almost. USO is turning a little bearish. I trailed out of my position. USO didn't work that last time, or didn't make much money, so got out of it. I think USO lower if we take out last week's low, which is 26.82. To be absolutely safe, then I would wait for 25.85. So instead of 26.82, 25.36. 25.36 to be absolutely certain that it's lower. So that's oil. Doesn't look very good, but it's not quite safe to be bearish on oil. If you would like to get to get this list, I can't talk. If you'd like to get this list, it's in the description. I copied the watch list and dropped it into the description of the video. Bullish list as well as the bearish list. All you'd have to do is copy it into your own platform or into your own watch list. Here's the ideas for next week, for tomorrow actually. ATVI as a breakout over the base, stop would be under the base. Okay? AYTU triggered for me swing and for the newsletter at 156. Notice the low was 155. I would like to add to it to 1 over 170. Okay? Looks higher to the prior highs. Reminds me a little bit of the BNTX, which I went over in last week's video as a breakout. Right? It's kind of similar, but the BNTX is better and still looks higher, by the way. AYTU, I like over 170. A CTIC is a pullback to the daily on the daily chart, so long over 122, but it's already at 126, meaning it's already triggered. So I like it higher over 134, stop right here, and it looks higher on every time frame, daily, weekly, monthly. Next on the list is FPRX. It really is on fire. Looks higher over the base, over $7, stop under the green bars low. Okay, as a swing, very, very bullish. If you're in the strategic swing trader, as always, I post my plays on Saturday, so just log on to your account if you'd like to know which ones I will be taking in my own personal account. The plays have been posted, or so if you want to log on to your account, you'll see which plays I am picking. I'm obviously not going to play every single item on my watch list, and if you would rather just wait for the newsletter, you'll get it in your email inbox by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So you can also just wait. Don't have to log on to your account right now. KDMN over the base, stop under it, or rather over the topping tail, which is 550. Stop should be under $5, 503, but I'd give it to 499. NEM is gold. I should have played it last week. I had an order for it, and then last minute I decided to cancel it. It would have filled me right at the bottom there. So I should have kept it. I feel like I made a mistake. I know I made a mistake. Long stop. Target. It's a gold miner. Another gold miner that I like a lot is the BTG. Another gold miner that I like a lot is the BTG. Wow. It's going to break out. But for tomorrow, I like the NEM more. OPK is another healthcare biotech stock over 191 long. Breakout, stop under 250. It's about a 40-cent stop. OPK. PHUN is like the AYTU, but the AYTU is slightly better. The AYTU has a rising 20. This has a flat 20 on the daily chart, but long over 139, stop 126. PSTI, I was in it for a couple of days last week. Transition A on the daily, weekly buy setup also. I was in it for a couple of days and then I got out of it. It printed the wide range bar. That's why I got out of it. I'd like to get back in it if possible over 935. Stop would be under 840. It's about a $1 stop, 95 cents. PULM is an amazing weekly breakout, weekly transition A breakout over the base. Look at that. Look how tight that base is. Stop under it. Target up here. So it's an amazing play. It needs to take out 206, I believe. 204, that's 205.50, so 206 minimum. We need to take out 206 with a stop under 172. Sage is a daily breakout. Entry over the base right here. Stop would be under these last three red bars. Okay, the lowest low of the last three red bars, which should be 40.35. 40.35. SNES is a transition A. Long over the base, stop under it. There's a little bit of resistance right here, so it's not my favorite. Okay, but over the base, stop under it, and then I would target $4. So it's about 100% gain if it gets to $4. STIM is a transition A also over 211 or so. Yeah, 211. Stop under 183 and target $3 on STIM. THM is a monthly breakout. I mean, this thing looks amazing. Looks incredibly bullish. Now, it's up a lot, to be sure, but it broke out over the last 7 years here. Next resistance area would be around 375. And then the one after that would be almost at $6. Almost. So this looks higher on the monthly chart. And the daily looks higher also, but we have that topping tail in the way. Long over 151, stop under 135. About a 15-16 cent stop. VOXX is like the KDMN, but slightly cleaner than the KDMN. Breakout, long over the base, stop under it, like it. WTRH, not quite ready, but I'm going to be watching it next week for a move back up over the base, target up here, $4, stop under it. Okay? Next is XNET. XNET is a long-term play, is a monthly buy setup. Now, it's a transition A on the monthly chart, but it's a deep pullback. Better than XNET is INFN. Notice the INFN is also a transition A. Really, really like the INFN as a long-term play. XNET has a better daily chart than the INFN, and that's why it's the one that I'm, this wasn't supposed to be on the list. It's the one I was going to talk about. Over the base, which is 391, I believe, stop would be 360, under 361 as a long-term play, but INFN is not ready on the dailies. That's why it wasn't supposed to be on the list. It is just that it looks even better on the monthly, and for this, I'm looking for it to break out over 650 with a stop under 550, but notice it's still far below it, so I don't think that's quite ready yet. All right. Before we talk about the bearish list, I just want to say I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to info@t3live.com. They can forward the email to me. So info@t3live.com. Also, if you'd like to get the watch list that I am showing here in the video, I typed it up in the description of the video. So just copy it from the description. And check out my free ebook in the description as well. Back to the charts. BSX is a 1, 2, 3, 4. The first bar is bar number 1, which is the igniting breakdown bar. Bar 2, which is the resting bar. Bar 3 is also another resting bar. And if it breaks under the last 3 bars, then that's called a 1, 2, 3, 4 breakdown play. I like it short under the base, stop above it. This is like a CME, which I made a mistake not taking yesterday on Friday. So here it is. Doji bar, and then short. In this case, it's called a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So the trigger was under the green bar. In the case of the BSX, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and then if we take out the lows, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it a lot, BSX. CAN is at all-time lows, while the market is at all-time highs. At least the Qs is. It looks lower under the base. I mean, this is really bearish. Stop would be over 197. Okay. CEMI gapped down a huge amount, and now it has an hourly base breakdown right here under 319, I believe. Stop right here. Okay. On the CEMI, like it short, and then target would be, let's take a look. Target should be 225, exactly 225, about $1, which is a 33% drop. CNQ is a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly chart and a sell setup. Check it out. I'm going to show you the weekly chart real quick. It's not coming up. How come? Here it is. So this is called a sell setup when the stock retraces back to the declining 20, regardless of the time frame. That's called a sell setup. But in this case, you got the sell setup, you got the resting doji bar, and then the continuation if we break under last week's low, which is 1689. This is very, very similar to the NEX, which I went over in last week's video, which was a big mistake on my part for not doing it. I didn't take it actually. So short should have been under 270. It's already at 220, which is at target 1 actually. This is 220, 206. So it still has a little bit of room. And then target 2 would be right here. So the NEX and the CNQ are very similar. The NEX is better because if you look at the NEX, look at the 20MA, was already starting to point down. The CMI is, the CNQ is totally flat, but it's exact same setup on the weekly chart. I like it. Again, not as much as I did the NEX, but I still like it. Cannabis stocks looked like they might pop last week, and then they broke down. So they actually look lower. CRON, TLRY, they both look lower. I'm not going to be playing them personally. I don't think I will be. Target right, because there's support right below on the TLRY. But it does look lower. And then CRON already broke down on Friday. Still looks good short, but I'm putting them on the list. I put them on the list just because I know a lot of people a lot of traders like to trade cannabis. And so I thought I would just kind of share with you that I think they are lower, not higher, lower. Okay? EDSA already triggered on Friday, so this should be taken off the list because it's already triggered under 545. See this? It was a short. Looks lower to the rising 20 on the daily chart. LULU, no, FSLY first. FSLY on Wednesday or Tuesday, I thought I totally missed it. I thought this is the top, and it went back up. So it is climactic. Look at the weekly. That's called a climactic rally. Usually they're not sustainable. Goes up and then collapses. And then maybe goes back up. But for now, I'm going to be watching it short. This is like Tesla. Remember Tesla last year? Or, I mean, this year, the beginning of the year, when it went vertical from like 350, 300 bucks to 1,000 and went right back down to 300. Now it's right back up, of course. But FSLY is the same kind of setup. It's even more climactic, maybe. So I like it short. It doesn't have an entry yet. You can always short it under the prior bar's low, but that would be an $8 stop or $7 stop. So I'm going to watch for an entry off the hourly chart on FSLY. It's not quite ready. LULU looks lower. Check out the weekly on LULU. The entry for the LULU short would be right under the last 2 weeks. In fact, the last 3 weeks, the lowest low of the last 3 weeks. So under 288.60 would be the entry for LULU. It's not my favorite idea because it has a big stop, but it does look lower, okay, on LULU. MESO looks lower. It gapped up, got sold, and now, as you can see, it's starting to roll over. So under the base, stop above it, target the 200 MA on the daily chart. On MESO, MYGN was on last week's video. I told you I loved it, and I played it. I'm in it. I just would like to add to it potentially. I got in at 11.95, which is right here. Okay, liked it. And then this was an official play for the newsletter as well, so it's an open position. We also have a bunch of other open positions short, like the CSII. Beautiful, isn't it? Was on last week's video also, and I said I loved it, right? Got to target 1, target 2 is 27 bucks. We also have GLOP, a short, from 390 or so, 395 I believe. So somewhere here, under 396. So we have that short and looks lower to 2 bucks. So we have a few plays short already, and we trailed out of Amazon long on Thursday. Actually, we trailed out of it. We had the Amazon as a breakout right here. Entered, trailed out on Thursday, this day. Okay. But at any rate, I like the MYGN continue. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4 continuation, so it just needs to break under 1050. 1054, but I always, when it's at the half number or the whole number, I always give it a few more cents. So under 1050 short, like it. Under stop, it would be over 1128. So it's about an 80-cent stop. TLRY we talked about looks lower. TMHC is like the CNQ, is a rollover on the daily chart and a weekly sell setup. On the weekly, it doesn't look as good as the CNQ because the CNQ is under the 20 MA, is right at the 20 MA, which is more bearish than being above the 20 MA, which this is. This is above the 20, but it actually the TMHC looks lower on the week. It looks better on the daily than the CNQ. The CNQ looks better on the weekly. You can't have it, you can't have it always perfect on every time frame, unfortunately. TT is a 1, 2, 3, 4 short. So here's the breakdown bar, here's the doji bar, here's the doji bar, short under 84.17, stop over 86.50. Let's take a look at the weekly chart to just make sure the weekly looks good. Weekly is a 1, 2, 3. Looks okay. It's a little sloppy. It's probably thin also. No, it's not thin at all. It did 7.5 million shares on Friday. Not thin at all. The YNDX is like the FSLY, but YNDX already triggered. Unfortunately, I didn't see it on Friday. Otherwise, I would have played it. I think I would have played it. Short under 49.44. Well, it's already at 49 bucks, 49.03. So I'm about 41 cents late, but I still like it lower, and with the target being 45 bucks. YNDX is a climactic sell setup, is like the FSLY. The YNDX already triggered the FSLY. I'm just watching it, watching for an entry. And then last but not least is ZAGG, which is a daily breakdown and a weekly sell setup, sort of. A sell setup means when the stock retraces back to the declining 20. So this got to the 20 and then it's coming back down. A huge topping tail. ZAGG looks like it's going to zero, honestly. Looks like it's going to zero. So looks lower to me. Looks like it's headed to 60 cents or so. Okay, the all-time low. So at any rate, I sure hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, if you have any questions, info@t3live.com. And if you're a subscriber, as I said, feel free to check your account, log onto your account. I already picked the plays that I'm going to be taking in my own account on Monday, tomorrow. And in terms of the market bias, as I said, I am expecting the market to drop. I'm not expecting a total crash, but I do think the market, it looks very, very toppy and looks lower. And I'm thinking we're going to get a decent drop if we drop. Not a 30% drop like we got in March, but a nice decent drop. I talked already about the market at the beginning of the video, so if you're just tuning in, make sure to watch the first few minutes of the video. But is there anything else I want to say? No, I just want to say have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Have a great trading week next week, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Talk to you later.